Let's be honest, buying your first luxury watch can feel overwhelming. There's a constant stream of opinions online about buying this brand, avoiding this movement, this one is the best value. But most of that advice skips the most important question, which is what actually makes a first luxury watch right for you? Because your first watch isn't just another purchase. It's the piece that sets the tone for your entire collecting journey. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what matters, practically, technically, and emotionally, so you can make a decision you'll still feel great about years from now.
Now, my name is James. I'm a watch enthusiast, I'm a watch collector, and I'm also an advisor. And my main goal for you is that you know and love your watches. So if you like this type of content, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, and check out my additional content down in the description below.
We need to define what we're even talking about in this video. Luxury watches are not just about the price. They're about the craftsmanship, the mechanical engineering, the finishing, and the brand heritage that you get with a watch. And this is where we separate true watchmaking from just fashion watches. At the entry level here, you're typically looking at mechanical movements, which are automatic or manual, established brands with a real watchmaking history behind them, and a noticeable step up in build quality. This doesn't mean that quartz is bad either, by the way. But for many people, the emotional draw of a mechanical watch is what makes it feel like luxury. Now let's start with purpose. The biggest mistake you can make is starting with the watch instead of with your lifestyle. Ask yourself, is this a daily wear piece? Is this something that I can wear to the office, during weekends, for travel? And if this is your first luxury watch, there's a good chance it's going to need to do a lot of different things. And this is where the idea of a one watch collection comes into play. You want something that can handle everyday wear, that can work in multiple settings, and that doesn't really feel out of place anywhere. Because versatility, especially early on, is far more valuable than specialization. So let's talk about money, but in a way that most people don't. A realistic entry point into luxury watches is anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000. But the real decision is not just how much to spend, it's how you're going to spend it. You've got two main paths to go here. You can buy from an authorized dealer and get something brand new, or you can go pre-owned and really stretch the value that you can get for your money. Then there are the hidden costs that we don't talk about, such as servicing the watch every 5 to 10 years, insurance if the watch has meaningful value, which you should, and the straps, the bracelets, the adjustments that you'll need. The goal here is simple. Avoid stretch regret. Don't buy something that feels financially uncomfortable just to reach a certain brand name. And at the same time, don't underbuy so that you immediately feel the need to buy another watch. So let's talk about size and proportions a bit. This is where a lot of first-time buyers go wrong. They focus on case diameter and they ignore everything else. But what actually determines how a watch wears is the lug-to-lug distance, the thickness, and the case shape. And I've got some videos on this. A 40 millimeter watch can wear completely differently depending on those three factors. If it's too long lug to lug, it's going to overhang your wrist. And if it's too thick, it becomes uncomfortable relatively quickly. This is why trying a watch on matters more than just reading the specs. Because on paper, everything looks good. On the wrist though, that's where the truth actually is. Now let's get into the movement a bit, because this is where things can get confusing pretty fast. Basically, you've got automatic movements, manual wind, and then quartz. For a luxury watch, most people tend to lean automatic. Why? Well, because it balances convenience, mechanical interest that a lot of watch collectors have, and daily usability of the watch itself. Then you have a whole nother question of in-house versus third-party movements, and here's the honest answer. For your first watch, reliability matters a lot more than where the movement itself is made. A well-executed ETA or Solita movement can be incredibly dependable and easier to service long-term. If you're going to take one thing from this video, let it be this. Versatility is everything for your first watch. Look for things like neutral dial colors, so black, white, a shade of blue, clean and balanced designs, and the ability to go from bracelet to strap easily. You want something that can be dressed up when needed and dressed down effortlessly as well. Extreme designs, whether ultra sporty or ultra dress, tend to limit how often you'll actually get to wear the watch. At some point, you're not just buying a watch though. You're actually buying into the brand itself. And this is where things become a little more personal than what we've talked about so far. Brands like Jaeger-LeCoultre, Tudor, Longines, Grand Seiko, they all offer strong entry points, but for different reasons. Some are a little more tool focused, some are design driven, and some emphasize finishing and craftsmanship. And there is no right choice here. It's just about what resonates with you as the buyer. When we get to build quality and details, this is where you start to really feel the difference on the wrist. So pay attention to small details like case finishing, having brushed versus polished transitions, dial execution such as indices, printing, and textures, and bracelet quality. This is a big one. And then there's also the crystal itself. Most watches will use sapphire, but anti-reflective coating will vary. Some brands, like Grand Seiko, are known for having a much better anti-reflective coating on the inside of the crystal, and that changes how the dial presents itself in real light. These small details are what separate a good watch from one that feels exceptional for you over time. When it comes to durability and water resistance, specs for a watch can be misleading if you don't understand them. So water resistance ratings sound pretty straightforward most of the time, but real world use is different. 50 meters doesn't actually mean full on swimming. 100 meters, on the other hand, is generally safe for daily exposure in just about any situation. Also, things to consider would be having a screw down versus a push down crown, scratch resistance of the material of the case, and overall robustness of the watch. For a first watch especially, your durability is going to matter because you're going to wear it a lot. Here's another important one when it comes to longevity, and this is a simple test for that. The question is, will you still like this watch in 5 years? Trendy designs can feel exciting in the moment, but they don't always age well. Timeless design for a watch doesn't mean that it's boring. It usually means that it's balanced, intentional, and enduring. And this is where many first-time buyers get caught chasing hype instead of choosing something they actually connect with. Let's address the topic of resale, because it matters, but not in the way that people think. Not all watches hold their value equally. Some brands have much stronger secondary markets, and some models are easier to sell. But if resale is your main reason for buying a watch, in my opinion, you're already approaching it in the wrong way. Think of resale as more of a safety net, not a strategy for buying a watch. Lastly, we've got to talk about what we don't talk about enough, and that is the emotional connection to your watch. Your first luxury watch should mean something to you. It might mark a milestone, a goal achieved, a birthday, a promotion, or just a moment where you decided to invest in something that's going to last a long time. Because at the end of the day, you're the one wearing this watch. And that feeling matters way more than any list of specs on a sheet of paper. So, if you're thinking about your first luxury watch, here's the framework. Does it fit your lifestyle? Does it wear well on your wrist and fit within your budget? Will you still enjoy it years from now? And most importantly, does it feel right to you? Is it attractive to you? Because that is what this hobby is really all about. Not chasing the next watch, but being really satisfied with the one that you do choose. Now, if you're in that position right now where you're looking for your first luxury watch, drop a comment with what you're considering. I'd be interested to hear where you're at in this process and what is on your list of considerations.
And if you're interested in learning more about watch basics, take a look at this playlist that I've put together that has tons of videos all about all the basics you're going to need to know as you're looking for your first luxury watch. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.